Welcome back to the Cord Cutters News Tech Lab. Today we're going to be diving into some of your questions about cord cutting. I asked on our community tab here on YouTube and over in the Facebook group Cord Cutting Tech Support, what are some cord cutting related questions you have? And you guys came through with a ton of great questions. I'm going to answer a few here, and we'll probably be doing this in the future. If you like it, let me know. Leave a comment, hit that subscribe button. We'll love to hear from you. So let's dive into it. Starting off with, how long do I see cable TV continuing? I think in its current format, 5 to 10 years, we'll probably see most cable companies go away, at least go away from offering cable television. Now, I do think some of the bigger ones will continue to do it for much longer. There's a lot of people still very comfortable in that world who are unwilling to move away from it, especially in the business world. And that's propping up a lot, and so are apartments, HOAs, and others. I'll explain that in a minute. There's not that many live TV streaming services that are built for businesses or allow businesses to use them. Actually, many of them specifically prohibit it. Bars, restaurants, and the like, they don't have licenses to do that. Cable is going to be propped up by that for some time. Secondly, a lot of apartments, HOAs, and the like have struck deals to force their clients to have to pay for their internet, their television through the HOA payments on that. That's propping up cable companies also. But we're already seeing a growing number of small cable companies shut down television, just saying it's not worth it. I think maybe faster than I think, but at least 5 years, I think most cable companies will survive that long. And for some time after that, we'll still see many go out there. But we've already seen a bunch of small ones shut down. I think that'll continue to tick up. But as long as they got these huge commercial accounts and all these HOAs and apartment complexes, that's going to prop up cable for some time. All right, is there any paid streaming services coming that will only offer local channels and nothing else? Not yet. Reason being is, even though most locals are independently owned, they do have the big parent companies helping prop them up. For example, a lot of these companies say, hey, you want Disney? Well, you got to carry the local ABCs. You want this, you got to do that. And so far, that has helped prop them up. Now, if Venue Sports is successful in launching as a sports-only service, I think that will break the mold and could potentially allow them to do local-only packages. Now, you can get local-only packages from cable companies and others, but a streaming version of it. So far, they've been very, very cautious about that, unwilling. But I do think that will come. Is there any specific service doing that right now? Unfortunately, no. I don't know of any coming in a little bit. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But I think a lot of that has to do with, they try to support each other, right? If you want ESPN, you have to get the Disney Channel. If you want the Disney Channel, you have to carry ABC and the like in order to try to prop up all the channels to try to drive maximum revenue for the cable operator. All right, NYC asks, should Disney Plus get a massive UI overhaul? What other suggestions would you like to see? First of all, NYC, thank you for being a subscriber to the Cord Cutters Club and supporting this YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. All right, so should there be a UI update? Disney Plus doesn't have a horrible UI. Could it be better? Definitely. I don't think UI is as important as especially some people in the industry think it is. I think if you look at some of the lesser legal apps, we'll call them, out there, they have absolutely awful user interface, but because they're cheap, people use them. Good content will drive high user engagement, high engagement. I think a lot of people focus too much on the UI. Like, if we just tweak the guide, if we tweak this, if we tweak that, that's going to bring in thousands of new subscribers. It's just about content. Must-watch TV, what was that, NBC must-watch TV? That's the key. You have to have that must-watch show or movie. The Tiger King in 2020 was the must-watch show that helped drive Netflix subscriptions. What is that show? What is that must-watch? I think Disney Plus has had some good original content. Mandalorian is probably the biggest success they've had. I don't know. I haven't looked at all their numbers. But the question now is, what's the next one? What's that next killer app, or in this case, killer TV show or movie that is so good people will go subscribe just for that show or just for that movie? Now, minor tweaks will help, and according to the Wall Street Journal and the information, Disney is already actively revamping the app that will be rolling out sometime this year with more live channels, streaming, kind of like what they recently launched with ABC News and others. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think the UI importance is important, but quality of the programming is the most important thing. All right, will the Roku Channel app ever be available on Apple TV? I noticed that app is available on Fire TV, Google TV, and it's on Roku, but not on Apple TV. Yeah, I've noticed that too. I don't know exactly why. I don't know if that's a ad revenue split deal that they don't have with Apple. I don't know if that is an issue with maybe some terms inside the Apple contract, or Roku just doesn't want to support Apple. I don't know. You know, it seems to be beneficial to Roku to be everywhere, but I've noticed that for several other free ad-supported services. It'll be interesting to hear. Everybody's been very tight-lipped about why they're not supporting Apple if they don't. It'll be very interesting to hear why. Was it something in the developer process? I don't know. It'll be interesting someday if we ever find out. All right. What is the next streamer to go under? He wants my prediction. What is the next streaming service to go under? That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. There's a lot here. Fubo, of course, the future of their streaming service is very much tied into their lawsuit. They have some big repayments coming up for loans they've taken, investors they've taken have to repay. And they've been very clear that if they lose this lawsuit, they'll probably go under. That's over a year from now. I suspect there'll be a growing number of smaller streaming services merging into bigger ones. We've seen this trend already. Just the fact that, you know, there's hundreds of apps, not all of them can be successful. How many news apps do you need? We've seen this recently. Every cable network had, or every local TV network for a while had an app. Your local Fox, ABC, CBS had a Roku, Fire TV app, and the like, you watch it. We're seeing those shut down and consolidate into a couple different ones. Whether it be Haystack, NewsOn, Zem, or however you say that channel, or that streaming service. We're seeing those consolidations. I wasn't surprised to see more. We see, for example, the Boomerang streaming service merge into Max. I think companies who own multiple streaming services are going to start to consolidate them down. Now, for the time being, which ones are next? I just don't know. But my prediction is those smaller, free ad-supported ones out there are the next target up. It's actually interesting to see that some of the smaller, lesser-known subscription services are doing really well. One's dedicated to maybe hunting and fishing. For you, you don't care, but if you're a hunter-fisher, you're very interested, you may be willing to pay for high-quality content. But the question is, how many independent little news apps do you need? We'll see. I predict, though, in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll see hundreds of streaming services go out as investors have pulled back and stopped supporting free services and are instead, or stop just giving their money. They want to see a quick return. If they're not seeing a return, they're calling their investments due and they're cutting back on it. We'll see what happens in the long run, but for now, I don't know. Fubo is definitely, if they lose that lawsuit, in trouble. I think a lot of smaller news apps are in trouble, and I think some of the smaller free ad-supported ones are in trouble. As honestly, you know, why go to a smaller ad-supported service that is just an exact copy of everything on Pluto TV, Tubi, but Pluto TV, Tubi, the Roku channel, and the like, has even more content, including original content. I think that's where they're going to struggle to stand out. Any updates at Bally Sports and Amazon? No, Amazon reportedly pulled out of its deal to become the new streaming home for Bally Sports and canceled its investment. There has been talks that they're still doing talks about maybe a new deal, but nothing has come from that at all. All right, let's keep moving along. Can we talk about nationwide outage at Tableau during week 1? Yeah, Tableau had a short outage on its legacy devices, or new devices, I should say. They fixed it. They promised that that won't happen again. They were kind of vague a little bit exactly what caused that. Next question, will we see more live channels come to Disney Plus? Yes, Disney Plus is expected to be adding more live 24/7 channels, much like Pluto TV, Tubi, and others have live 24/7 channels now coming to Disney Plus. All right, with Dish on shaky grounds, where do you see the future of Sling TV? For now, fine. There is talk that Dish and DirecTV are in active talks. Sling and Dish are still the cash cows for DirecTV, or excuse me, for Dish and its parent company now EchoStar as they try to finish their 5G network. For now, it's fine. The question is, if this merger happens, who's going to win, DirecTV Stream or Sling? I can't see them keeping both alive. We'll keep a close eye on that. But for the foreseeable future, I think Sling TV is fine because it's still growing. It's still for the most part, and it's still bringing in revenue that Dish desperately needs. Is Hulu going to have a live TV plan without Disney Plus and ESPN? I can't afford the price increase. At this time, I don't see one. They did have a live TV only plan, but it was only like $1 cheaper. It wasn't even worth it for all the content you're going to lose. And all right, we'll keep going here. A few more questions. Will Pluto TV remain free? Yes, I do fully expect Pluto TV to remain free. I can't imagine them. We just talked about the consolidation. Why launch a second paid service when you have Paramount Plus sitting right there? There has been talk, though, about them selling Pluto TV, even selling it back to the original founder, one of the original founders, Tom Ryan, a great guy. I've met him several times. Nothing's come of that yet, but I think it would be sold long before it gets turned into a paid service. Well, it kind of fights against this idea of consolidating that we're seeing happening in the market versus creating two competing paid services. All right, last question. How come we don't do Q&As live on YouTube anymore in the evenings? Well, be very honest with you, I have 2 kids now. One of the kids is getting into the teen years coming up soon, and that means gymnastics, theater rehearsals, and all kinds of other after-school activities. Whether I'm leading a small group at church on a weekday night, or we just have things happening around the house. My schedule is pre-booked. I also have a 3-year-old son who needs a lot of our attention, so that eats into it. And honestly, back when I did the Q&As every day, my daughter was like 4. We weren't racing out to multiple after-school events every day, or it feels like. If you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. Now, it's a time issue. It really is, to be honest with you. I hope that these recorded Q&As do well. I would love to kind of make them kind of a semi-regular thing we do. I'm not sure about weekly yet, but maybe every other week, every month for sure. I would love to try it out, see if it goes well. So keep an eye on our community tab. I'll post here, mentioned in the videos, and on our social media. So make sure you subscribe to all those when we do the next one. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much for your time. I'd love to hear your opinion on all these questions. Take care. Be safe. I'll be back again real soon.